This is fantastic news for the Second Amendment. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about a U.S. District Court out of New Orleans that has found the U.S. pistol brace ban is likely illegal. Now, this is a fantastic day for those who support the Second Amendment. You support gun rights. You support common sense legislation. This is a great day for us. Now, before I get into the article and the previous ruling, let's just give you a quick recap as to what a pistol brace is. Now, what you see on the screen before you are pistols. These are not rifles. Now, on the back of them, you have braces. These are not stocks. And let me explain the difference. Now, a stock is what you put on the back of a rifle. If you have a barrel that's above 16 inches, that is a rifle. And these things on the back would be considered stocks, potentially. Now, what you have right here are braces. They can be used as stocks. According to what the government said before, they said, okay, if you got a pistol and you have a brace on it, you can put it up to your shoulder, use it as a stock, and it wouldn't be a big deal. But these are not stocks. So let me just show you how they're supposed to be used. You see, that's how it's supposed to be used. That is a pistol, and that is a brace. It's people that have that, you know, if you're disabled or you have a hard time handling the pistol with just one hand, whatever it is. That was the design and the purpose of these devices. But at one point, the government said if you shoulder it, it's not really a big deal. But now the government is trying to say, under the Biden administration at least, that if you have this brace on the back of a pistol, that transforms your pistol into a short barrel rifle or an SBR. Now, it is not legal to have an SBR unless you tell the federales and you pay for a tax stamp. So call the federal government, say, hey, I want an SBR. How can I do that? Oh, buy a tax stamp from us. It won't be a big deal. All right. That is how you have your SBR legally. But since millions of Americans purchased these pistols with the brace on the back, and then they were told, oh, now these are illegal, that was going to put a lot of Americans in a bad situation. They're going to have this illegal thing in their gun safe and not even know it. They may even go to the range with this, and then it could be an officer right there, and now they're in trouble. Okay? Now, they say they are at least 2 to 3 ways to fix the situation, and we're going to get into the update in a minute. The first way is to remove the stock and just have your pistol with the blunt end or nothing on the back. Okay, that's the first way to remedy the situation. Or, like I said, call the federal government and buy a tax stamp or attach a longer barrel. So these appear to have like 10-inch barrels or just below 16. Put a 16-inch barrel or above, and now you have a regular rifle. So it doesn't matter if you have a stock on the back or a brace, which could be used as a stock. It doesn't matter if you shoulder or whatever, as long as you have the longer barrel. But me personally, I enjoy the short barreled guns. I ain't going to say short barrel rifle because I know the feds are watching, but I enjoy the shorter barrel. This is really the perfect size. If there was going to be a rifle that size, that's perfect because you have the accuracy with the mobility and kind of the compact nature. It is a perfect kind of weapon. Now, let's get into the update. And actually, before we get into the update, this was a thing. It was a rule where they were going to start enforcing it and say, hey, if you have this particular weapon in your gun safe, you bring that to the range. Now it's going to be a problem. Okay. So they're talking about, all right, there's all these mass shootings happening. We're trying to crack down on guns. And it's funny how they want to crack down on guns. They want to be all for gun control. But then when Hunter Biden lies on the background check, which is a felony under the Brady Act from 1993 that Hunter Biden's father was a spearhead behind. Okay, that's a 20-year max felony, but there seems to be no kind of prosecution heading Hunter Biden's way for that, but different story, I digress. There was also an attempt to get a plea deal from a gun charge, and I think the charge was handling the firearm under the influence of crack cocaine, which is totally illegal. But anyway, I'll move on. So they were trying to do this through the ATF, through the Biden administration. So in January, the ATF issued a final rule clarifying the definition of a rifle to mean a firearm with a barrel measuring 16 inches or more, designed to be fired from the shoulder, which includes firearms with accessories to allow firing from the shoulder. So this is what I'm talking about right here. They say these devices, although designed to stabilize the weapon to be worn on the forearm, which could be shouldered, are devices which will allow you to shoot from the shoulder. Therefore, if you have that, and again, you're below 16 inches, you're 10 inches, right around that, you got a stock on the back, now you have an SBR, that's illegal because you have no tax stamp. Although when you purchased it, it was not illegal, and it was not a thing where you needed a tax stamp. It was totally fine. And they said that if you shoulder it, it's no big deal. We're not going to come get you. But now they changed their mind. They changed their stance, okay? Now, let's get into the update here, shall we? Let's get into the update. So you see what it says right here. We're on Reuters. U.S. pistol brace rule likely illegal. Federal Appeals Court rules, all right? And then there's an example of a brace right there, which is not typically how that even works. Okay, they got a regular 9mm type handgun right there. That's not how that works. But anyway, let's keep on going here. Let's check it out. A U.S. regulation restricting ownership of gun accessories known as pistol braces is likely illegal. A federal appeals court ruled Tuesday, a victory for a gun rights group challenging the rule. All right. 2-1 panel of the New Orleans-based 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals found that the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, ATF, Explosives finalized the rule in January without giving the public a meaningful chance to comment on it. That made it invalid under the Federal Administrative Procedure Act, the panel found. So they didn't follow the rules. They didn't go through that whole process. So now we have an issue of legality. Where do we go from here? Let's check it out. The court did not immediately block enforcement of the rule, instead sending the case back to the U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor in Fort Worth, Texas. O'Connor will have to decide whether to issue an order blocking enforcement while the case goes forward, and if so, whether that order will apply nationwide or only to the plaintiffs in the case. Now, I'm not quite sure what group is suing the ATF. I'm not sure if it's NRA or some other kind of group. Y'all let me know who's suing them specifically in the comments. But I think if there was any kind of injunction or block, it'll apply nationwide. And that's the way it should be. But if you have a pistol brace on the back of your pistol, and it could be considered a short barrel rifle under the Biden administration's new rules, you're kind of in a murky situation right now, at least. I don't think they're really going to enforce it, although there's been no official order to cease enforcement, if that makes any sense. We're going to see how that whole thing plays out, but I don't think they're going to enforce it, although they could. I wouldn't press my luck. I think I would wait for them to go ahead and issue the injunction before I just went out to the range and started letting a few off. But anyway, several federal judges have already issued preliminary orders blocking enforcement of the rule enacted by President Joe Biden's administration and challenged by lawsuits from gun rights groups. But those orders apply to all members of the groups and only in those judges' jurisdictions. Now, this case may go all the way to the top. It needs to go all the way to the Supreme Court, so it's not going to be, all this funny business. Oh, it's only going to apply to that group or only their members. Let's let it apply to everyone. All right. The lawsuit was brought by the Firearms Policy Coalition. Okay, there we go. Cody Wisniewski, the group's lawyer, called the ruling a huge win for peaceable gun owners across the nation. ATF and the U.S. Department of Justice declined to comment. Pistol braces were first marketed in 2012 as a way of attaching a pistol to the shooter's forearm, stabilizing it, and making it easier to use for disabled people. Correct, 100%. However, many users found the braces could also be placed against the shoulder, like the stock on the rifle. That is correct, but the government said that it wasn't a problem back then. That's what they said, but now all of a sudden that it is a problem. They want to try to renege on their original promise. Anyway, the disputed rule classifies some guns equipped with pistol braces as short barrel rifles based on several factors, including their size and weight and the manufacturer's marketing materials. Short barrel rifles are subject to special registration, longer waiting periods in purchase, higher taxes because they are potentially more dangerous to handguns. Right. Higher taxes, that goes back to what I was saying about the tax stamp. You call the federal LA, say, hey, I got an SBR, or I want an SBR, not that I have one already because I wouldn't buy one without your permission. I want an SBR. Okay, how can I make it happen? Pay us, and then that's it. I'm not quite sure how much a tax stamp costs. You guys do. Let me know in the comments, but it does cost more than just buying the weapon by itself without that extra step. Fifth Circuit Court Judge Jerry Smith wrote Tuesday that the ATF's final rule was dramatically different from the proposed rule they offered for public comment in 2021. The judge said that amounted to a rug pull on the public. Circuit Judge Don Willett said in a concurring opinion that the rule likely violated not only the Administrative Procedure Act, but also the right to bear arms under the Second Amendment of the Constitution, an issue that the majority did not address. Circuit Court Judge Stephen Higginson dissented, saying that the final rule did not require public comment because it merely interpreted a law passed by Congress. So now we're trying to interpret law. Now we're trying to pass laws on the bench. We shouldn't really be doing that. We got to go to the Supreme Court and get the whole thing done here. But I will link to this article in the description box and the previous article. But as I close, I want to say this. The pistol brace rule should go ahead, get overturned because you're violating Second Amendment. And also, people were told that it wouldn't be a problem. You can have it. It's all good. Now you want to turn lawful gun owners into criminals. I went to the gun store. I passed my background check. I purchased my gun. Now I'm a criminal. But yet Hunter Biden will lie on the background check felony, will possess his gun while under the influence of crack cocaine felony, will throw the gun off behind a dumpster in a school or somewhere in Wilmington felony, and he was going to get a plea deal. Please save the nonsense. Let's stop trying to disarm lawful gun-owning Americans and have them up under the thumb of the federal government. Let's please stop the charade right now. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about what's going on here? Do you think that it's a good idea to overturn the pistol brace ban? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys know where I'm at. This is no more than an intrusion upon the Second Amendment and lawful gun owners. So you got to overturn this thing right now. And I propose, I suggest that it will go all the way to the Supreme Court. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, that's my suggestion and my opinion. It should go all the way to the Supreme Court to get this knocked out, and it probably will because it's going to be an ongoing thing. In the meantime, if you have a 10-inch barrel on a pistol with a brace, hey, if you do, I don't know nothing about it. I didn't see nothing. If you ask me about that, I don't even know what that is. What are guns? Okay, it was tragic about an accident. They're all gone. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.